And we are live, Sean.
Thank you very much, Christine. So I'll call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. Township of Clearview Committee of Adjustments for Wednesday, May the 12th, 2021. The minutes of our meeting held on April the 14th have been circulated for adoption. Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, I'd call for a motion to approve the minutes as circulated.
So moved.
And first by Chuck, seconded by Barry. All in favor? That is carried. Do any members of the committee have any disclosure of pecuniary interest with respect to the 3 minor variances on this evening's agenda? Seeing none. Our first application, minor variance file 21A11. I would ask the secretary to read the notice and any correspondence and the staff recommendation. Christine?
Thank you. The subject application concerns lands municipally known as 5308 County Road 9, New Lowell, and legally described as Concession 4, Plan 116, Lot 5, Creemore Road North-South, South Part Lot 5, Part Lot 6, Palmerston Street. The purpose of the application is to request the approval of the Committee of Adjustment for relief from the residential large lot zone maximum gross floor area for detached accessory buildings requirement of 64 square meters to 82 square meters, a total variance of 18 square meters. The effect of the application is to allow for the construction of a detached garage on the subject lands. We had a comment from the chief building official having no concern or objection to the application. And we also did receive a call from a neighbor who had no concern with the proposed size or location of the building, but just wanted reassurance that no commercial operation would be occurring in the building. And the planning department did explain that that would not be a permitted use, that only storage of items accessory to the residential use would be permitted. And they were satisfied with that response. And I have a recommendation from the planning department that the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Clearview hereby approve minor variance 21A11 pertaining to lands at 5308 County Road 9, New Lowell, and legally described as Lot 5, Concession 4, Plan 116, Creemore Road North-South, South Part Lot 5, Part Lot 6, Palmerston Street, formerly Sunnydale Township, now in the Township of Clearview, on the basis that it meets the 4 tests in accordance with the Planning Act and with the following conditions. Total gross floor area for all accessory structures will be permitted to be a maximum of 82 square meters, and that the minimum interior side yard setback for the garage be 3 meters. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Is the applicant or agent of the applicant on this call? Don't think so.
I'm not sure, Sylvan.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Do you have any comments or any anything that you would like to provide to the committee that's not part of the report?
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for attending tonight. Any members of committee have any questions? Mr. Burton.
Yes, I want to speak to the applicant, and there's some very specific conditions, and I want to ensure that you understand those conditions.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Any other members of committee have any questions? All right, I'd ask then for a motion.
Yes.
Moved by Chuck to approve the recommendations of the staff, and seconded by Dave. Any further comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll ask for the vote. That is carried. So the Committee of Adjustments, Township of Clearview, hereby approve minor variance 2000 file 21A11 for property regarding at 5308 County Road 9. There is a 20-day appeal period, and Christine will be your contact after that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next application, again, a minor variance, file 21A12, property known as 9 Caddo Drive. Christine, can you please read the notice and any correspondence, as well as the recommendation?
The subject application concerns lands municipally known as 9 Caddo Drive, formerly Nottawasaga, and legally described as Concession 11 North Part Lot 42, and Reference Plan 51R448 Part 25. The purpose of the application is to request the approval of the Committee of Adjustment for relief from the rural zone interior side yard setback requirement of 4.5 meters to 1.8 meters, a total variance of 2.7 meters. The effect of the application is to allow for the construction of an addition to the existing dwelling on the subject lands. We did receive comment from the chief building official having no objection or concern to the application, and we have a recommendation from the planning department that the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Clearview hereby approve minor variance 21A02 pertaining to lands at 9 Caddo Drive and legally described as North Part Lot 42, Concession 11, Reference Plan 51R448, Part 25, formerly Nottawasaga, now in the Township of Clearview, on the basis that it meets the 4 tests in accordance with the Planning Act and with the following condition. The eastern interior side yard reduction to 1.8 meters applies to the construction of the addition to the house. And that is all I have.
Thank you very much. Mr. Whiteley, how are you this evening?
Good, yourself?
Good, excellent, thank you. Do you have anything to add for committee's consideration with respect to your application?
No, I mean, it's just an application to put a garage next to the house. That's just sort of simple as that, really.
All right, very good. Any members of committee have any questions, either of staff or Mr. Lee? So we'll start with Barry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Whitley, there's one specific condition. I just want to be assured that you understand the terms of that condition.
Okay, what's that?
The condition says the eastern side yard reduction to 1.8 meters applies to the construction of the addition to the house.
Okay.
So in other
Yep,
words,
yep.
You understand that condition?
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
I'm satisfied, Mr. Chair.
All right. Anyone else have any comments or questions with respect to this application? Seeing none, then I'll ask for a motion. All right, moved by member Dan, seconded by Chuck, that we approve the recommendation of staff. All in favor? That is carried. So the Committee of Adjustment Township of Clearview hereby approves minor variance file 21A12 for property known as 9 Caddo Drive. There is a 20-day appeal period, and Christine will be your contact after that time. So thank you, Mr. Whiteley, and happy building.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Now, our final application for this evening's meeting is a minor variance file 21A13, property known as 795437 Collingwood Clearview Town Line. Christine?
The subject application concerns lands municipally known as 795437 Collingwood Clearview Town Line, formerly Nottawasaga, and legally described as Concession 12, South Part Lot 38, and Reference Plan 51R35965 Parts 2 to 4. The purpose of the application is to request the approval of the Committee of Adjustment for relief from the rural zone front yard setback requirement of 15 meters to 5 meters, a total variance of 10 meters. The effect of the application is to allow for the construction of a detached garage on the subject lands. There was a comment received from the chief building official having no objection or concern with the application. And I have a recommendation from the planning department that the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Clearview hereby approve minor variance 21A13 pertaining to lands at 795437 Collingwood Clearview Town Line and legally described as South Part Lot 38, Concession 12, Reference Plan 51R35965, Parts 2 to 4, formerly Nottawasaga Township, now in the Township of Clearview, on the basis that it meets the 4 tests in accordance with the Planning Act and with the following conditions. The owners will obtain a building permit for the accessory building. The front yard setback of 5 meters applies to the accessory building, which is permitted to be a maximum size of 17.84 square meters. And the accessory building is permitted to be located in the front yard and in front of the main wall of the primary building. And that is all I have.
Thank you very much, Christine. I see we have the agent for the applicant here who circulated a presentation to us a bit earlier today.
Yes,
You
thank
have-
you. My name's Kristen Reddy from Georgian Planning Solutions, and I'm the agent representing the property owner, Mr. Nealon, who is actually on the call as well. I did put together a presentation, albeit you guys are very efficient this evening, and so I don't, unless you think that you need some additional information, I did provide some pictures within my document if you haven't had an opportunity to see the site. But as Christine noted in the notice, what we're trying to achieve is to permit that accessory building in front of the main dwelling with a reduced setback from the front yard. So I'll take direction from the committee.
All right. Any members of committee have questions of either the applicant or the applicant's agent? Mr. Burton?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, so to Ms. Rennie, so there's three specific conditions. If we are to approve this, there's three specific conditions. Are you and your client aware of those conditions?
We are, yes, and we are in the process of putting the building permit together now that we're in front of committee. And the front yard setback and the maximum size we indicated in our application as well. So we're quite aware of those conditions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm satisfied.
Other questions from members of committee? Dave?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Actually, no questions, just a couple of comments. So when I did my site visit, one of the things that I always look at is snow removal. I think fortunately, in this particular case, since the building is ahead of the cart, I think fortunately because of the vegetation in front of the building and because there is a bit of space coming off the road and I don't anticipate a lot of speeds on that road, nor a lot of traffic, I don't see a problem with the snow removal. So I guess in the future, there is an advantage of getting a permit first because the township tends to look at things like snow removal and speeds and so on and so forth. And I guess that's your slap on the wrist, and that's about as strong as it gets, I guess.
Any other members of committee with a comment or a question? No? All right, then I'll ask for a motion then. So moved by Dave, seconded by Barry to approve the recommendation of staff. Any further comments? I'll ask for the vote. Opposed? That is carried. So the township, Committee of Adjustment, Township of Clearby hereby approves minor variance file 21A13. There is a 20-day appeal period. I do recommend when you build structures of that size that you do talk to the township and get a building permits. 10 by 10, 108 square feet, 100 square or 10 square meters. Makes sense on the property. I didn't want to influence the vote as chair, but I also would ask that you maybe consider the comments of the NEC and do some further screening plantings between the road allowance and the structure. Again, not a condition of the decision, but an act of good faith with the Niagara Escarpment Commission. So thank you for that. And that brings close to our applications. Christine, you have a net meeting next month?
We do. So for June 9th, I believe we're up to 7 applications total. And we've surpassed that, the cutoff. So that will be our limit for June.
Very good. So you'll be
Will be a busy meeting.
you'll be printing out the agendas for everybody then next month.
I will be, yes.
And that date is the 9th of June.
Yes.
All right. Does anyone else have any new business?
Thank you, Rosalind.
Okay, good night, everyone.
Oh, I thought you had new
Night,
business.
Roslyn.
No, just the businesses saying good night. Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, good night. See you next month.
Thank you. Anyone else have any new business? No? Then I will ask for adjournment at 7:15 PM.
So moved.
All right, so moved. Thank you, members.